Yo guys, and welcome back to another episode of Podghost.
So guys, today we thought we'd change it up a little bit. You know, normally we bring on athletes, singers, you know, people who are mostly in the line of entertainment. So today we like to bring onto the show Mr. Pro PT.
How you doing, my bro? You good?
Alhamdulillah, I'm great, man. Thank you so much again for having me down.
Thank you, my bro. Thanks for coming down, man.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I mean, you referred the previous guests as athletes. I don't know, you got celebrities, you got singers.
yeah.
Today, I think you got a boss man.
Real shit.
The first boss man on.
Let's go.
So, bro, you know what? We always like asking our guests about their early years, bro. You know, because everyone's journey, I think, plays a part in where they are today.
Yeah.
So, bro, we want to start off there, man. How was it growing up? Where did you grow up? Explain that to us, bro.
So it's your boy Pro PT. My actual name is Yusuf Bartoda. A lot of people will know me off social media, TikTok, Instagram. Probably as one of the biggest, well, I say the biggest person training in the industry. My background is from Tottenham. My mum's Italian, my dad's Algerian. I grew up in North London from a very sort of middle class, low end background.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had nothing. I say we had nothing from. We had a family. We had the base.
Yep.
But what we didn't have is the privilege and the advantage of having what most kids will have, who are probably from the country. You know, my dad was an immigrant. He travelled all the way from Algeria. Had it quite hard. Faced racism, faced, you know, that whole aspect of not being legal.
Yeah.
He had to work really hard to try to raise a family within a background where it was new to him. You know, so I think that in itself had a massive sort of, I say effect in the relationship my parents had, but then over the years and as I got older, I started to realise that those sort of things are the cause and the sort of problem and the things that you face that affect your childhood.
Of course, yeah.
Like a broken home can really affect a child upbringing, but it's what you do. Do you know what I mean? There was always understanding about what do you do with these sort of things where you come from a broken home, you come from a place where, you know, you're seeing the violent side of things, you're seeing the arguments, you're seeing that, but how do you grow up from a young age, learning to understand and adapt with realizing these things and about doing what you can do to get through it, to utilize the belief that your parents are still going to be your parents and to have that sort of trust and that strong relationship with both parents, even though they're not getting on, to take the benefit that they bring to this. Because at the end of the day, they're still your parents. So my dad was a very sort of hard-working man, a very smart man as well. You know, and he had it really hard from his upbringing. And my mum, the opposite. She came from a different background, different lifestyle. She came from Europe, from Italy. But again, she's had to face loads of things that she became like my motivator and my never give up. And my dad was like my guide. And then obviously once they were going through the split up phase, I realised from a young age that I had to play a big role model to my younger brother as a father figure.
Of course, yeah, because being so young and that being impacted in your life, you're thinking, I need to step up now.
Exactly that. And the step up side of things started where I also had a brother who was literally 9 months, 2 weeks older than me, getting from the same parents. We grew up like codees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we were very, very different in all aspects, in mindset, in purpose, but we built a good name for ourselves in the area. You know what I mean? Within a background where violence, gang, everything was normal.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what we knew. And it was about building a repetition and a name for yourself where at that younger age, I was aware that I was wrong. I had a choice, but I made those sort of choices.
Yeah.
I'll be lying to you to say if I wasn't influenced or if I wasn't sort of, groomed into a lot of things. Because as I got older, I realised you are kind of groomed into things, especially when
Of course you are.
Depending on who you're hanging around with and
exactly
everything,
that. But I've also had that young, savage mindset from a young age where I created a very obsessive mentality. I became very like focused, very hard on myself.
I was just going to say focused,
yeah.
Very hard on myself. Took accountability and responsibility from a young age. Even though I knew certain things went wrong, I just had to work a way around it to get through it, to utilize that as an experience, and to eventually channel it and to do something positive. So,
smashed it, man.
Whether I look at it from now and be like, do I regret any of it? Absolutely not. Yeah. I loved every single moment of it. Obviously, I regret anything I may have done to, harm someone. but I never ever came from a place where anything was deliberate, from a place where if I did something, I still had that heart in me.
The guilt, yeah.
And the guilt,
yeah.
And that for me was eventually once I started to embrace myself, I'll say.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, this was a part where it was only until I went to prison I realised that I had to sort of take that sort of accountability and that shift. And I went to prison at a very young age, at 15. And it was only then when I realised that's a part of my life right now where I got closer to my faith. Because before that, I'm a born Muslim, my mum's a revert, and having parents who never really pushed it on us, guided us through it, taught us it, explained us it, we did fall off track. But going to prison was a
wake up call,
an obligation, and a promise that I made to myself and God that I will never skip a prayer, and I've never skipped a prayer since the age of 15.
Mashallah, man.
Wow.
So that obligation and that purpose there, the same way I had that strong mindset and that obligation from a kid to play a big role model towards my sibling and towards obviously my sister who came down the line once I went to prison, is the same mindset and discipline I created in everything I input in my life. So there was a good driving force, there was a good momentum there going into prison, and obviously I discovered a part of my mindset where I realised I'm a savage. And I knew I was a savage, but I knew like the shit I can get through and the things I prepare myself for and the mindset that I had in me that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things happen. And everything I confront, anything I go forward with, like the confidence, the mindset that goes behind it, the courage, literally no fear, no worries, no doubts, like no insecurities. I kept going and I kept utilising that to the point where like once I come out of prison, I channeled it into something positive.
Did you feel like you had this from your childhood, or when you went into jail, that's when it changed?
It's a mix, because before going to prison, I was actually a fat kid. You know, my street name was Chubbs. People knew me as Chubbs. Not only because I was chubby, I had really bad eating habits at the time. I used to actually turn towards food as an escape.
Comfort eating thing, isn't
comfort
it?
eating,
Different to comfort eating, more from a harmful place, bro. Because I was also the same guy who used to stick his fingers down his throat to try to throw up, to try to lose weight. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't call it comfort eating. I would call it more, I turned towards taste buds, which most people suffer right now, which is called obesity or eating disorders. Which at the time I didn't know. For me, like these things don't even exist. You don't even hear about these things until you understand the industry, or until you become a personal trainer, or until you grow up and you start seeing it, how much it affects other people. But I guess I did have that. You know what I mean? Like turning towards food was my way of escaping the reality, and it does have an effect on you, especially as a young age. And I think it's probably one of the biggest things that today's generation that we're gonna go into, people you start seeing major suffering, and also you're going to see the effect you have when people get older, when they start having like cholesterol problems, diabetes and all of these things. So my obsession and all that mindset, I did have a part of it, but at the same time I was lazy, I wasn't committed to my prayers, you know. Being overweight, eating unhealthy has a massive effect. At a young age you don't realise it, but it does have a toll on your confidence, to have a toll on the way you feel in clothes, the way you look.
100%, bro.
I went to a phase where I literally only wear black clothes. And I would wear jackets in the summer.
Yeah, that's me right now.
You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I did it, because I used to think I looked fat in anything else.
Of course,
you know what I mean? And it was that psychological understanding that how much that had affected me. So
of course,
I would say I had that savage mentality, the focus, the dedication, but it wasn't until I went to prison and I'm sat in the room and I'm sat in the cell right now.
Oh, sorry, just to ask you, the first time you went to prison, do you mind asking what it was for?
I don't like talking about it. I won't go into too much detail, but all my coldies are doing a life sentence for it.
Okay.
So.
And you were 15 at the time?
I was 15 at the time. Wow. Young age. The story behind the Bally has a big impact to how I lived my life before that.
Right.
What I used to do, things I used to get away for. And alhamdulillah, it was a guidance from Allah.
Alhamdulillah,
to put me in a place like that. And I've spoken about before on a few podcasts that I actually chose to go into prison. I was actually given bail. Chose to go to prison to...
so you actually chose to go to prison?
Chose to go to prison on remand, and then got given bail whilst I was on remand. Came out, bust case. So alhamdulillah, I went through that. And again, like, I like put myself in very uncomfortable positions.
I can see that.
You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
And when I went in there, I had a great time, bro. And I literally lived every second, every minute of it. I utilized certain strategies, certain mindset to unleash certain things in me. But I didn't waste any time there, bro. I was watching loads of other offenders living their life and doing what they're doing, and they were in there more from a high perspective or caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time, or actually real criminals. So I went in there, thought, I'm one of the lucky guys who actually chose to come in here. And I'm one of the lucky guys who's actually going to use this time right now to reflect, change my life, channel, come out and go hard.
That's some serious courage.
Exactly, bro.
That's some dedication. How long were you in for?
6 months. So literally just under a year. But aside to that, there was obviously other restrictions. I was put back on tag. I was on home arrest.
Oh yeah, I can
I had
imagine.
a 5-year ASBO. Wasn't allowed to use a mobile phone, and all of these things. It gets very complicated.
When I heard that on your previous podcast, that he wasn't even allowed a phone, I was like, no way. In this day and age, how are you meant to live without a phone?
Exactly.
Bro,
You know what I'm saying?
It was hard. And I wasn't allowed to be around more than 2 people.
Serious.
There was a lot of like restrictions. I'm not allowed to talk to any of my coldies,
Yeah,
you know, who at the time were my dogs. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, does it have an impact? Nah, because obviously with me as well, when I was young, my coldies are all older. And as you get older, you get mature, you get wiser.
Of course, yep.
You learn things differently. You understand things from a different angle. So for me, it was like, I always learned from the elders.
Yeah.
So even now, I learn from the experienced people. I'll still take information and knowledge from the younger generation, because I feel like the young people are actually slightly better than the older generation now. But I always had this understanding that learn from your elders, learn from people's experience, learn from people's mistakes.
100%.
So when I went in there, the time I came out, I switched my mindset, committed to my faith, I find peace and love within myself.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, if I can spend every single second in this cell right now, and I'm bugging out in this phase, like I'm actually bugging out in there, because I'm not gonna. I made it sound like it was like a boarding school. It wasn't like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It wasn't just like you go.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like smooth
There was
sailing, as you said.
there was obviously aspects and things that I saw, things that I've done, things I had to go through. But I had a game plan and I utilised that. So once I came out, I was given the opportunity by the judge, and he basically said to me, like, I'm letting you out. You have to do one thing, is give back to the community. And that's one of our 5 pillars in Islam, charity.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So that for me was like, I'm getting closer towards my 5 pillars. My first pillar obviously was acceptance of Islam. And I would say to you, like, I was probably very confused at a young age, because even though I was Muslim, them days there, I was also shy away from it.
Of course,
so I wasn't really embracing it. Within the community I was in, I went to a Catholic school and all of that. Even like my name, I was like embarrassed of my name at one point. Then obviously the second aspect was my 5 daily prayers. I was like, I've embraced Islam properly now, sticking to my 5 daily prayers. The judge talking to me about giving back to the community as one of my things that I got.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my charity.
Yep.
Fasting Ramadan, I never used to keep Ramadan, bro. I was a fat kid. Ramadan comes, I used to lie to my parents and say I'm fasting.
Yeah, we all done that.
Now I'm fasting.
Sneaky
You
little
know what I
burger.
mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm fasting, so I'm like, wow,
Subhanallah,
I've accomplished 4 things and I'm going to live by these. And the last one's obviously pilgrimage, but for me, pilgrimage is also an aspect of like cleanliness, discipline.
Of course, yeah.
You know, like you can live pilgrimage without going to Mecca, because it's the same principle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mecca is the final pilgrimage, but I think as Muslim, we live pilgrimage all year round. If you have that 100%. Discipline in you, alhamdulillah, you get through life very humble and very grateful and very wise and understand your purpose. So
of course.
From that, I just took every opportunity after that when I came out and created a obsession and challenged my mindset into doing what I wanted to do. While I got into fitness and personal training, I didn't really have a choice. My probation officer said to me, you got to get into a course. And for me, I'm dyslexic, I can't read and write. So going to school, I failed everything. By 15, I was in prison, so I had no GCSEs and stuff. But there was something about fitness and training, made me feel good, made me feel confident.
What age did you start the fitness and training?
What age did I start? I say from like the age of 16 to 18, I really got to learn about it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think once I was fully qualified at 18, I already had my first job, but my first job, I wasn't getting paid. I was a cleaner at a gym. I was homeless at that gym for about 6 months to get away from the crime and the gang life that I was in.
I was literally just going to say, when you come out, was it hard getting away from all your old life?
50-50. I don't want to say it's hard, because you know what? If I say it's hard, the people who are going to listen to it are going to think it's hard.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's not hard. Just make that choice.
That's it, yeah.
What's harder is being there.
Yeah,
not doing what I done was to get out. Of course, that journey is hard, and you're going to experience a lot of things, and you're going to go through a lot, but choose your hard, innit?
Of course, yeah, exactly.
It's hard being there, it's hard being out of there, so
100%.
the choice is yours. So I couldn't sit here and just say, yeah, it was hard, because I would love to say now that hard there has now made my life easy, because now me taking risks, me jumping to the deep end,
that, bro. Yeah,
me saying that my comfort zone right now is embedded in me. This is what I do, and I believe if you guys are listening right now, always make sure you stay at a comfort zone and do what's right. You know what I mean? Don't shy away, don't fear, like don't get comfortable, and don't stay where you are because you think you'll never be accepted. Because look at me now. You know what I mean? And that's not from a like an ego perspective. That's more from like, use this and use what I've accomplished and what we're going to talk about in this podcast today to use it as a guide and a map, because in my time, podcasts weren't there. There weren't really anyone out there to inspire you, teach you or guide you, and you never really had opportunities like you guys have now. So utilize this and see through it, see through me, see through these brothers here, and use that as your guide. So
man, yeah,
well said. That was really nice.
Yeah,
that was like an ending speech, wasn't it?
Yeah. You gotta give them something there, innit?
Love it. So, bro, you know what? Obviously, you've spoken about your past and the way you've took, let's say, all negative situations and turned them into positives. Would you say, bro, that doing that was like a test within itself? Because, bro, a lot of people, when they've seen a lot of negative growing up, dad's an immigrant, like you said, all this stuff that you brought up, using homelessness or prison or whatever it be. I think a lot of people can easily go down the route of drugs, alcohol, being, get addicted to the wrong thing.
That's one thing I never touched.
Yeah.
I've never touched it.
So that's what I'm saying. Because with you doing that, would you say that was just your mental mindset? And if so, where do you think that initially came from?
Yeah. So initially it came from your faith. It has to come from your faith, and that's the beat of Islam. The second thing, it comes from yourself as well. You have a choice.
Yeah.
And then, like I said to you, like, I'm also someone who's quite smart, quite wise. I can see through things. Like I said to you, when I used to make the bad choices, I knew they were bad, but I chose to make them at the time because maybe I wanted the experience, I wanted the adrenaline, I wanted to understand. And I believe through those hardship, through doing wrong, you flip the magnet, negative turns into positive, you know what I mean? So it's about that understanding. I feel like if you try to sugarcoat things, if you really try to be perfect, you try to be positive all the time, or you try to like be in your comfort zone or look for the good all the time, then you're going to only attract the bad as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's about finding that balance. So from the questions you asked, was it hard? Don't know, man. For me,
see, us sitting here, for us to listen to you the way you're talking about, doing the stuff you've done, putting in mind what you've been through, I think it takes a lot of courage and a lot of inner belief and inner strength. It's easier saying it. And the way you're speaking about it sounds like it's a walk in the park. And anyone can
exactly.
do it.
But I want it to sound like that, if I'm honest with you.
That's exactly. But it reflects on your mindset. That's how strong it is. That
exactly
you feel like if you can do something, like for example, if you want to go into something, you're not going half-hearted, you're going full-fledged. You know what you're doing from the get-go.
100%.
And that's why, coming from there, doing, having that courage and having the mindset you've got, the positivity, it shines through you, bro. Like we're sitting, the way you're talking, I'm actually listening to every word like with full focus.
Exactly.
And it's like you demand that attention when you talk.
Absolutely, bro. Like when I talk, you need to listen.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know a lot of people are going to listen and hate, and a lot of people choose not to listen. But it will come back and it will make sense. And I'm a strong believer of that, bro. You can't cheat the game. The game is full of everything's a formula, bro. Everything's a game, and a game is full of formulas. 1 + 1 is always going to be 2, but to make the number 10, you can look at it from different equations. You can do 5 × 2 is 10. You can do 5 + 5 is 10.
See what I'm saying? The way you explain things is sick. You
can do 20.
Very unique.
You can do 20 divided by 2 is 10. You can do 100 divided by 10 is 10.
Exactly.
If I start doing that, bro,
the answer is 10.
Bro. My mind is just already.
So that's how I look at it. So when I look, let's say 10 is the goal.
I
don't look at it from one angle. I believe there's multiple angles. I believe every angle is right. And I believe about embracing everyone's angle. And I believe that's why it's so positive, my mindset. Because how could you not see that? And if you can't see it, then
doing something wrong in it.
Then no, it's your fault. You're not choosing to see it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Set your mindset.
Yeah.
And when you believe it, guess what you do? You go out there and choose to want to go look for the answers. You go out there to choose to want to look for the solution. But if you see it as it's always just going to be 5 times 2 is 10. Yeah. But you can't see any another way, but all of a sudden 5 times 2, you can't get the number 5, you can't get the time, you can't get the 2.
Yeah.
Then you're going to sit there and look at the number 10 and never achieve it.
Of course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you might not, the fact you got 5 and times 2 in front of you, you might need to look at it from 8 plus 2 is 10.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different formula for a goal, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
So, bro, you spoke about, I want to go back into your PT life. So when you got involved in the whole personal training stuff, I want to know, from where you came from, why training? Why gym? Why fitness? Why did that become? Because that's a genre in itself, and it's a lifestyle.
100%.
Was it because of the whole prison thing? You probably start training, getting into the whole fitness thing,
Massively.
looking good, thinking, yeah, man, you know what I mean?
Massively.
So
the first stage was my insecurities. Like when I did my transformation, I had a big BlackBerry following at the time. Loads of using my BlackBerry, and I put a before and after picture, and I had a lot of interest. So my probation officer knew about that. They knew about my phone because basically at the time, with my ASBO and stuff, there were certain things that I had to basically get through to them. You know what I mean? Explain to them and acknowledge through them. So when it came to the person training side of thing and that side of thing, I had to explain to them that this is what I got to do basically. They then advised me, so why don't you do a PT course? You know what I mean? And it was government funded. Yeah. They paid for it. Qualified now. I went through the longer route instead of doing a 6-week crash course. I did like a year course of it.
It's like an in-depth thing, yeah?
I wouldn't say it's in-depth. This is how it used to be before. Now you got crash courses, but by my time there weren't no crash courses.
But I feel like when I say in-depth, I feel like when people used to study before, it was actually to the core training. I feel like now people on the outside, they think they can become qualified just by learning something.
Just by knowing
one thing. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I meant from...
The greatest about that was the fact that I had work ethic. I was training at gym. I had a decent following. I'm very good people. The obligation of giving back from the government, the judge who set that upon me. I naturally always just wanted to help people for free. So I built momentum and I built experience. And that's what helped me get through my course and helped me qualify a lot more quicker. And having that experience within myself, transforming myself, that once I was qualified, I thought, great, I'm a personal trainer right now. Start sending out my CV, but it wasn't as easy as that. Because that's when your past catches up with you.
I was going to say, but also before that, because the name Pro PT didn't start from your personal training, did it?
It did.
Oh, it did, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I thought I saw it in, I saw a video. Yeah, I saw
in prison.
Name. Yeah.
That's when I had that mindset.
Smashed it,
so,
man. Wow.
That's sick.
He had that from the beginning.
From the beginning. Bro, the name Pro PT, I can show you when my Instagram was made. And the first name was Pro PT, and I think it was made like back in 2000 and... I think you can check. You can check about it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
It's an old page, bro.
Because I was shocked. Very, I thought it came from obviously him after he become a PT. It wasn't the case because when he was in jail, he already had it written on his wall.
Exactly. What? Mental. It was like destiny, innit, bro? These are things you just...
It's a mindset thing.
It's a mindset, yeah.
Well, I want to ask you a question, something about training and stuff. Because as you can see, I'm not really into training. Well, I was once upon a time, and age took over. So I want to ask you a question about obviously a topic that maybe you haven't touched up on in any other podcast. Maybe you have. Is steroids. Now I believe, naturally, I want to know your view on it because obviously you were in that line, and you've been, daily working, training people, helping them. And there's a few people I spoke to, recently, and they were like, 75% of people are on the stuff. Whether it's these fitness trainers, you see these guys on Instagram and, they just look perfect. Like, would you say the use of steroids is on, an absolute high, and it is the truth that a lot of people are generically just taking steroids?
I'll be real with you, bro. I've never touched it. I can't touch upon or speak upon something I don't understand and know myself. My reason behind not utilising it is because, first and foremost, I've seen some effect on other people, which put me off. There was that whole like saying that if you take it, you can't have kids and all of that.
Of course.
Of course.
And all of that.
Yeah.
That side of thing kind of like, I kind of pushed it away.
Yeah.
I had natural size because I was a fat guy, so I kind of utilized that to my own advantage. But my approach and how I approach fitness is very different. I don't do it to look aesthetically appealing. I don't do it to have abs. Like, you'll look at me sometimes and think, I probably don't even train. Do you know what I mean? But what I accomplish with training...
you train before us.
But I mean, at the level of the competitors who are probably on steroids or who are taking this stuff, you probably think I don't train at that sort of level, basically.
Right.
You know, people think to train at that sort of level, you got to look aesthetically a certain way.
Of course, what's meant to be a gym user now.
Perfect body, you know what I mean?
But if you look at the olden days, like my body shape, my size, my fitness, that's what it is. Like the Viking days or the Offman and Power, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I come from. So, but the things that I have achieved in fitness is like my training, I've taken it to the extreme. From physical aspect of getting shredded and lean, from my natural places, having my diet, to doing extreme fitness challenges. I don't know if you guys heard of the David Goggins 4x4x4.
No.
I was able to do that. You run 4 miles over 4 hours for 48 hours without sleeping.
Mad.
I ran 60 miles.
Whoa. That is mental.
I ran 60 miles from Brighton to London after being diagnosed someone who's basically paralysed on the right side of his body after a motorbike accident. I ran from Brighton to London in 12 and a half hours with no sleep on Christmas Day with 1 month of training. I ran from Cambridge to London, which is 45 miles, which is about 70 kilometers. I did that in about 7.5 hours, again with no training, just overnight.
Is this walking, running, or is it like jogging?
It's running.
Yeah.
It's running, and I've got all evidence and proof of that. My brother sat in the back there. He's witnessed it. He's seen it.
Bro, did you see it?
Bro.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like,
but talking about running, especially like the reason why I could definitely believe that as well, because you was also caught in London running through the streets in the snow by BBC, ITV, all of them.
And when people see all of that and they see how viral went with that, they think this was like all a front, all a stage, but it wasn't.
No, but being your size and that heavy as well,
of course,
running for that long, that is mental.
But it's different, breed. And obviously for me to do, like I said to you, I'm an extremist, bro. I believe you got to do very extreme things, and you got to go really out your comfort zone. You got to go through a lot of suffering, a lot of pain to achieve the highest of your potential.
Like you push yourself beyond the boundaries of where you think you should stop now, innit? Yeah.
Like there's beyond, and there's beyond to the point where like the side effect, there's 2 side effects.
Yeah.
There's a short-term side effect, which is fucking hard, painful, horrible.
Yeah.
Like to the point, but like people can look at me and be like, "Oh, you're trying to commit suicide or something." Then there's the whole aspect where the chemicals your body releases once you do these things and the mindset you tap into, you channel that into your positive aspect, whether it's business, whether it's an accomplishment, whether it's your relationship, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, and you achieve it extremely fast at the highest level, and then you go again.
Smashed it. And did you learn all this from your PT coursing, or is this just
nothing
life?
Nothing to do with PT course. This is something that I discovered more so because everything I do in life, I like to have fun. I've got this natural...
Yeah, I like that.
Inner belief with like guilt and courage. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm guilty about certain things, but I laugh through it, and I have this courage in me just to be like, this is what you just got to do it to get through it.
Yeah.
And then it's about channeling that, and then becoming an extremist, and then having big goals.
Yeah.
I know what it takes. I know it's never going to be easy. So if I'm prepared to be uncomfortable when life becomes comfortable, what happens when life becomes uncomfortable? I don't feel uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So understanding that element and living by that. So always putting myself in the uncomfortable, even when life becomes comfortable, because when life becomes uncomfortable,
you're already prepared.
I don't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think it's better to see life like that, bro.
Yeah, man.
I think
and that's how it should
statement.
be.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be, and you got to live by that. And I live by that. That's my principle. So that's where the extremism comes from. That's when it comes to channeling my mindset. But I've always got a game plan, bro.
With all this knowledge that you got, though, so what made you like stop PTing then?
So the PTing came about. It was like my first legitimate thing.
Yeah.
But I knew that wasn't it. I knew like also how much it could affect if I get into a relationship, being around all the celebrities and all the models that I was training.
Of course, yeah.
The way I market myself at the time, I wasn't
I was gonna say that. It was all girls, wasn't it? I just thought every picture I tried to look at was all like models and supermodels, and I thought, player, you know what I mean?
It was nothing like that, to be honest, bro. For me, it was business, bro. I just saw the numbers. I played up on the number games. I was one of the first people to do it. Did it to the extreme level. Became really popular. Became really big. The demand was crazy.
Yeah, of course.
The money was making at the time was crazy. The way I did it, the way I tackled it, and that's another story in itself.
Very unique, isn't it?
Also, the obstacles as well that came with it. And I've spoken about it before on previous podcasts, but again, that's me. That defines me.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Extreme, hungry, no fuck given, insecure, super happy.
Yeah.
Like there's being happy and there's super happy.
Yeah.
Battling fears, battling, insecurities, battling the odds.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And always being able to flip the magnet, like everything I do, people look at me and be like, you're crazy, don't do it. Even people as close to family members, relatives and stuff, they'll look at you and be like, sometimes they doubt it, sometimes they don't understand it, but
of course,
that drives me, and I see them and I respect them. I respect them for that, because I think that gives me more purpose and that gives me more of a reason to want to do it.
Continue with it, exactly.
Sometimes in the moment it can look arrogant, you can fall out with people, but in the long term it always made sense. Do you know what I mean? And I want to carry on living that as long as I live, and I want my kids one day to understand
Inshallah, man, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
what's the story behind the mosque?
The story behind the mosque.
The man behind the mask.
Explain that, my brother. So there's a lot of things I did from a young age, and the mosque kept me protected. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kept me protected from an image perspective. Yeah. Kept me protected from many things, to the point where like I won a few cases from the mosque. Do you know what I mean? So alhamdulillah, I'm here right now. And a big part of growing Pro VT, I never used to show my face, because for me at the time, I didn't really know much about branding and building the brand and stuff, but I built a platform utilizing the team that I had built at the time and the clients to get business. And it wasn't until lockdown where I was like, not forced, but I felt like, cool, maybe it's time to put my face out there. And it wasn't until I put my face out there, I then grew even more. But then what comes with that as well is a lot of evil. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
A lot of evil eye, a lot of jealousy. And I was battling a different sort of, let's just say, a different sort of battle. The first battle of getting to the industry was, I hope my past don't catch up. And I hope,
true.
Like, people don't recognize me because I'm becoming really successful. I've moved on. There was that side of things where I shouldn't show my face. And I was able to accomplish that. Then there was the whole aspect of, to build a brand, you got to show your face, got to put yourself out there. So I utilized lockdown and, that period when everyone's using their phones, creating content and going live and stuff, to now survive through a period of lockdown. And then I thought to myself, all right, cool, I've gone viral. My page is growing. I'm helping, I'm encouraging people, but I'm like, deep down inside me, I don't even want to show my face anymore. And then kind of
do you feel like you got a lot of stereotype from it?
Good and bad, but I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But even the other
works
day,
in your favour.
I walked to the gym the other day, bro, and one of the managers there came over to me and be like, there's rumours about you, this and that. And I'm like, all right, great, what is it? And I'm like, kept it moving, bro.
Like, exactly.
I'll go on my DMs, there's supporters and there's haters, bro. But let me tell you something, bro, there were supporters and haters before I even had anything. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I had to I had to adapt and understand that thing from a young age, and none of it even matters. And more so when you grow, within a social aspect, if you stay true to yourself, none of this matters, because you're staying true to yourself.
Of course,
the camera and the views and the numbers is just a bonus, bro. It's a bonus if you know how to channel it and market yourself. So last year, 2 years ago, a good friend of mine called Mikey was starting something called Midnight Madness on social media.
Right.
And it was during lockdown, towards the end of lockdown, where they were going on lives, when lives on Instagram started trending and people were getting views and that. And I was seeing the growth aspect of it, and I've seen how people were jumping on like influencer boxing and how that can help them, build a platform and stuff. So I had a decent platform at the time, but what I wanted to do is utilize that to catch the people's eyes, because I understood that the generation walking into, people love entertainment, people love funny things, but people also love commercial stuff, people love drama, people love, what's the thing where like people, what's the word?
Controversy.
Yeah. Controversial stuff. Yeah.
Exactly that. So
Yeah,
when
100%.
I understood that, I thought, great, that's where the eye is at. How do I now that I've basically come away from the fitness industry?
Yeah.
How do I now? And the reason why, a big part actually why I got away from the fitness industry is fake. The fitness industry is completely fake. Like, it's bullshit. Like, you basically started off saying about the whole steroid thing. Yeah,
See,
that goes on.
That's why I asked you, because I always believe nowadays, 90% of the industry, bro, whether it's music, whether it's, surgeries, the stuff we're seeing now, it's all fake. There's literally
100%.
nothing organic and nothing real left. And
Absolutely.
that's why I wanted to ask your opinion there, because being a personal trainer, you must have had people calling you saying, bro, can you get hold of this or can you get hold of that? And
I was with women, bro, and like 99%.
Women, bro, the funny thing is, women nowadays are on the stuff more than guys.
That's true. A few of my models and the girls who were preparing for reality TV,
And again, no offense to anyone, but I'm
in
just,
acting and stuff, were taking that stuff, but nothing that I was aware of. In fact,
of course,
nothing that I'll have a conversation or speak to them about.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
They just got on with it.
And I think a lot of people who, when they do take it, they won't say they're taking it.
No, of course not. Yeah,
They just
I
exactly.
think now I've heard more people say they do take
They
it.
do
I think
take it, yeah, they
people
open
are
up about it.
opening up to it, but
They're opening up to
like
everything.
people open up to all this other shit that's going on. You know what I mean? But nothing for me to really. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? So I'm not
don't
really
bother
gonna. Yeah, like
Yeah.
But
exactly.
if you do it, just do it. It's the way it is.
do it or don't do it, bro. Like the reality is, if someone's gonna do it, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Straight,
so
yeah.
that's my whole understanding behind it. So with regards to the fitness industry, I realized how fake it was. I realized it's all a mindset game. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about manipulation. I learned a lot about mindset. I learned a lot about being responsible. I learned a lot about being like a mentor and a coach and like a role model, all of that. So
Of course.
when I saw things going off on TikTok, I thought, put a game plan. So listen, I'm gonna give myself 3 months to go viral.
Yeah.
And I spent about 6 months studying it before I jumped on it. So when I jumped on it, I was ready. By the time I jumped on it, I was the most searched guy on TikTok at one point in the UK.
Smashed it.
My hashtag, my tags, I was literally linking up with everyone,
Yeah.
coming together with one of the best and biggest creators in London, in the UK actually, and just monetize that to understand. If I want to create a brand and a physical product without having to invest a lot of money, why do I not use and leverage off what I've got, see what I can make out of it? Not because I was scared to take the risk, because I was willing to take the risk and make the investment and put money into it.
Yeah.
More so because one day if a child ever comes up to me and be like, I haven't got money, I haven't got an investment, but I've got a phone and I've got an Instagram account or a TikTok account, how do I create what you created?
Yeah, of course.
So I documented that journey. I started your Torah. Basically, I consigned the product from a supplier, which anyone can do.
Yeah.
Something that I learned from the streets. I then sold the product, made profit, went back to the supplier, gave him back his cut, used my profit to now invest in my bit, got my bit, hit the streets again, flipped it, made more money, invested it back into the product, into the business, utilized my social media following and creating a new page to start creating engageable content to see if I can create an online business. Studied the game really hard, looked at other people who were, inspiring to watch or understand, studied the formula, and then started to build momentum. From selling in the streets, dealing with the council, the police, being arrested for, what did I get arrested for? I can't remember what I got arrested for, but I won the case. It was something like breach of peace or something like that.
Fucking hell, man. Well, nowadays you get arrested for anything, man. I'm a lamppost. You're a lamppost in the wrong place.
Something stupid like that, but I kept that raw footage.
Yeah.
And I shared it, went viral, generated sales off it. I leverage off everything that's negative. And I leverage off the positive. But I have this thing that I learned from Gary Vee, it's like jab, 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 hook. Like it's like whether it's gonna be negative, positive, or positive, and then negative. Like do you know what I mean? Don't be too positive, don't be too negative. And don't allow people to know what's coming. Keep them always guessing and thinking.
But it's like what you just said before as well. It's all publicity is good publicity anyways.
Absolutely. I believe it. I live off that, bro. And I don't shy away from it, because when you're your own boss, bro, I don't care about no manager, no one telling me what to do, bro. My brand, bro. And I know that I came from the negative, so
for me, the only way is up.
even if I go back to a bit of negative, back to positive, I know how to flip it and I know how to channel it. So
it's like when some people say you started from the bottom, so if I end up at the bottom, I don't feel like there was any difference.
Yeah,
absolutely, no, bro. Absolutely. And you'll never really go back to the bottom, bro. Exactly. You realise people at the top are usually the ones who came from the bottom.
Exactly.
And the people who are going in and out of it are people that never really had a bottom and never really got to the top.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Leverage off that. And then after I got arrested, I won my case. I'm suing the police for it now. Oh, and I thought, how do I now get this product online? I knew nothing about Shopify, nothing about running a business online, nothing about...
But talking about your Toro, so did you create this yourself?
So the journey from converting that from an oil to a spray is something me and my team have done. So
by the way, this
was
smell it. Amazing.
I love the second wife.
The second wife,
man. This is called the second wife. It's the best. And I love this.
Just told the camera not to tell your first wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Try this one as well.
Can I ask you the reason of naming it the second wife?
The names come from a place where like everything we do from a marketing place is like
Yazz, this one. Sorry.
Yeah, it's different.
That one's Leng.
Wow. That's the amber wood right there.
Guy,
those two right there are the biggest top sellers right now.
Yeah.
And they're hard to get right now. Like even if you try to place an order right now, it's probably out of stock. Yeah. Or you have to join the waiting list, bro.
That is Leng.
Wow.
And what you got a website as well?
Website.
Well, we're gonna have everything
100%.
Absolutely, bro.
Below anyway. So if you want to order these guys, we're gonna have all the information
that is Leng
down below.
What I want to do is actually maybe give people a few blueprints, and again going back to the story to why I did things the way I did it and not did it the easy way, because I want to be the guy that people look at one day and point their fingers at and be like, you know what, this guy has helped me, or this guy's changed my life, and this guy's had such a good, valid, positive impact into why I became the person I become. So again, consigning something everyone can do, even if you're broke, you haven't got money. As long as you know how to build relationships and you know where to go. If you don't know where to go, pick up your phone, go on Google, YouTube it, then you'll find a place. Make phone calls, like literally just
networking.
Do the free shit, the networking bit.
100%.
Once you've done that, build a relationship. If it means you can trade any of your valuables for a valuable, that's avoiding any cost of money. Do that. Cool. If you're strong enough to build a relationship and get borrowed something, borrow it, stay true, work hard, sell it, get it out there. Once you got the profit, don't spunk your money, reinvest it. So I created that aspect and I wanted to showcase that people, and I've got that all documented as well for the youth to watch, that you can do it with the illegal stuff, but you can also do it with something legal.
Exactly.
So that's exactly
you can put the same mindset and energy into legal stuff.
Same formula, same game. Then to go online, if you want to go viral, there's a very easy route. Now, everyone's got a mobile phone right now. If you're watching this, you got a mobile phone. If you're watching this, you got a camera. Now, when you have a product and you got to that stage now, just create a video. You got platforms like TikTok right now where anything can go viral. If you're consistent, if you're posting every single day on TikTok, 3 out of 30 of your videos will definitely go viral.
Exactly, 100%.
And if you got a web link, and if you can't afford to have a website, what you do, you search for a web creator, you pitch your vision, you pitch your idea. If you're strongly believe in yourself and you want to bypass the whole paying aspect, you can do two things. You can either give this person a share or a cut or anything that comes from the business once you create your website, or go into partnership, go into business with this person, or again, borrow it, pay it off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got no excuses. You can't tell me right now you can't get a website now.
So true.
100%.
So true. Also.
And I ain't got money.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now I've given you 3 ways to go around it.
You don't need a website, you don't need money, and you still can get where you need to be.
And it goes back to that number 10. 2 times 5 is 10. 8 plus, there's always a way.
Smashed it, man.
Yeah. So there was that aspect. So with the website side of thing, alhamdulillah, I had my brother who was good at creating website. He created it, paid him for it. Then website is live right now. I'm seeing where people eyes at. So the boxing thing was going off. Never had really any boxing experience. Thought, cool, I'm going to get in the boxing game. I'm going to make content to go viral. I'm going to call someone out who's already got a platform. See what I can gauge from it. See what I can utilize my audience from. Everyone knows me as a training person, trainer guy. You know, I'm in shape. I'm training hard. Let me see what I can do. It wasn't easy again. That's another story talking about boxing itself.
Yeah, of course.
It's a different journey, especially
exactly.
Especially fighting on 2-day notice.
Shit.
Bloody
You know what I
hell.
mean? And actually annihilating the guy, bro. You know what I mean? And the guy had experience, just come out of jail, thought he was the big guy, and absolutely demolished him. But I leveraged off that because I thought, boxing's going viral, this is working, something positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm on TikTok dancing to music. I'm actually doing something that people look at, but man, rate my man, like, he knows how to throw his hands.
Of course.
Networked through that, built a bigger platform, and then I started to see other things go viral, and I thought, let me just jump on it, get the views, create my own channel from going live. Everyone can go live. It's a free platform. From going live, you can either sell your products, if you believe in yourself, you can link your website to your TikTok.
Of course,
you can gain views on TikTok Live. You don't need a retail shop at this point, because where in a business store as a salesperson can you engage or talk to over 100 people at once like you can do on live? If you worked in a retail store, you had a shop, you can only talk to a max 5 people at once.
Exactly.
To try to sell them your product. But you're on TikTok Live right now, there's about 100 people do
all
the same
tuned
thing.
in, exactly.
You know what I mean? But I also didn't want to be the boring guy who just goes in there and be repetitive, talk about the same shit. So I thought, cool, let me talk about different things. Let me become relatable. Let me sell myself. Let me sell my story. Let me sell who I am.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Because now people are buying me. And once they buy me, they're going to want to support. And I did that approach. Built that within a year. Come to this year, January, spoke to my brother. My brother was a big part of the story and the journey of your Torah from the street selling side of things. And it wasn't until I got arrested and he decided that he wanted to get something more, he wanted to do something more to follow what he was in at that part of his life. Do you know what I mean? Funny enough, we were both going through a breakup at the time as well. So we were there for each other, bro. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think we would have got through the success and the turnover. And within the first month, we made 16 grand. Within the second month, we made 30, 40. Within the third and fourth month, we made anything between 30 to 40 grand. That's from street selling.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Smashed it, man.
What's the thought process behind the name?
The name your Torah. So the Y in your Torah is my first name, Yusuf.
Yep.
The A is my mum and dad's initial, the golden A.
Nice.
And my surname is Boatora.
Yeah.
You know, so the Torah comes from that. And if you look carefully in your Torah, there's a word called Our.
Yep.
And soon, Our your Torah is a community that we're building. So we wanted to create a name and a brand that's not tailored to a specific product.
Yeah.
It's a brand which is we're creating a movement from, and it resembles our story and who we are. So it goes down to the root of the family. So something that I'm building right now, I'm working really closely with my brother and the team. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, we're doing extremely well from TikTok lives, from ads, from Facebook marketing, TikTok marketing, utilizing our office to invite special guests, working with the celebrities and the network that we built over the time. And this is why it's so good to network, because of course you just don't know who you come across. But also showcasing people that if you don't have that, you can still make money legitly from doing the right things, just off the base of what I've just explained right now. What we're about to do right now is something that I don't want to say it yet from a strategy perspective. Reason being because evil eye is one aspect. B, not because I don't want to share it, is I'm a guy, I'm a man of my word. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it. Yep. And I want to follow up the next stage to what we're about to create. So one day we can use this piece of content and be like, he did say something there. Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to bounce off that. And he pulled through as well. And he pulled through. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's with a lot of things. So, inshallah, with the will of God and the support of the team, of course, family, the true purpose behind it. Because again, true purpose gives you a purpose to keep going. Yep. With the goodwill, with the charity work that comes with it as well. Because we're connected to charities, which is, again, so important. You don't lose that foundation. Yeah. With the right intention, with more pain, more struggle, more obstacle, more bullshit that come with it, with, again, staying true to ourselves. It's a success, bro. The fact that we're here and I've got the opportunity even to come on this podcast, that's in itself a success. Because you know what that shows? Yeah, it shows the fact that how much you guys have accomplished, how much value comes within you guys. For someone like myself who values himself and very, I wouldn't say I'm, what's the word? specific with who I work with.
Yeah.
Because I like to give everyone opportunity until they give me a reason not to.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, bro.
But the fact that I'm around people like you goes to show that I respect you guys, and there's a reason why you guys want to work with me, because you obviously clearly respect me, and you see there's a value to value here, where the reality is behind these things like that, and the great use of these things, that we can actually impact and help a lot of people from it.
Coming back to what you said, when you stick by your word, if people remember what you said in the beginning, that you wanted to give back to the community from when you come out, and you're still doing that up until now. So big respect for that, man.
That's the foundation, bro, and that's the true success. And your only life insurance in this world, and the hereafter when you die, is what charity you've done, what you leave behind.
Of course.
But let me tell you something, bro. You can take everything away from me, literally everything, every single little thing, and I've experienced that multiple times.
Yeah.
A lot of time by choice, because I love it. I love that, the grind.
I think you like that thrill in it,
But also, like, what you can't take away from me, though, is the people that truly impacted, bro. That's my life insurance, bro.
Yeah.
Take every single little thing away from me. What I'll still have is those people that still say thank you for what I've done.
Of course.
And those people, I've never asked for a favour. I've never gone to people because I've never needed to.
Yeah.
Not from an ego perspective, because I'm probably the guy who still likes to fail and start again.
Yeah.
But I know one day if I really needed to, especially after today's experience with you guys, if one day down the line I ever needed you guys need me, I know we've built that,
of course, man.
Loyalty, that
100%.
that rawness, that connection where like...
It's that respect, like you said,
we'll remember each other. Like people remember Muhammad Ali for who he is, and Prophet Muhammad for who he is, and all these things, bro. Like I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm that guy. Like you're gonna put your fingers down one day and be like, just rate that guy, but I know that's the guy I'm gonna call.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I want to be like him. You want to try to be a role model to certain people.
Not necessarily also role model. Sometimes just like the aspect of like, like that was so real.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like that guy really stays true to himself, and if I message him, he's not gonna forget about me after this. It's like no matter where he goes, the humbleness is there.
Of course, exactly.
That bond,
that's
the brotherhood, the relate, anything that was truthful. So that's for me, like everyone I've impacted, from being a personal trainer to, anything I've done now, business that I've got myself involved in. That's what I hold on to, and obviously now I'm at that stage in my mind right now where I've got these formulas and I just want to implement them. Because it becomes a game and it becomes a bit of an addiction that you want to implement the success and the strategies into doing a lot of things. So I got involved in a salon as well, which I'm currently working on at the moment, and it brings a different thing into my journey.
Of course,
But what I'm doing is showing to the world one day that it's the same formula in anything you do. And for someone who's never done hair, never touched hair, it's a challenge. But if I stick to the formula, I can showcase the success from it.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
100%.
And it's just, I just want to give people no more excuses, bro.
And
there's not many role models out there who do that. And way too many people lie and sugarcoat thing, or will say certain things that are not even adding up. But I'm that guy that I'll prove and I'll showcase from
you ain't
time
just selling
to time.
dreams. You're actually doing
exactly
them. You're
that,
achieving them.
It's not as good as you think it is. We're all humans. We all shit, bleed, eat the same. We all get sad and depressed as well, but it's about what 100%. You do about it. We all have an opportunity. I don't care what background you come from, because through my life, I've been at the lowest, I've been at the middle, and I've been at the highest. So like, it's about staying true to yourself and understanding that once you do that, you can accomplish and do anything you want.
Smash them, man.
But the one thing that strikes me about you is you're so confident, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember watching one of your podcasts. I think it was with Shivani.
Big
up Shivani, pal.
Big up Shivani.
Amazing person. So I remember you doing a podcast with her and you were saying,
which one? 'Cause I done two of her.
You done the second one.
Yeah.
And the way you were talking on that, you said like, I am the man. The way you came across, and I thought, what, that confidence you have, it actually shines through you. Like, remember when I was talking to you first time on the phone, I called Seff up and I said, you know what, we might have to change the location. And I asked him, I swear to God, I said to him, you know what, he'll be all right with it. Because the first thing that struck me about you was, you were just so humble. There was no ego, no pride. Sent me a video of your place and said, bro, look, you can come here. And I was like, whoa, man, it's not normal.
It's not normal,
for someone to just say, look, whatever you want, we're working together on it.
Yeah, cool.
Go with the flow.
And I said this to him last night, no word of a lie. I said to him, bro, he's a very nice guy, mashallah, and the way he's got that confidence and that, the way you've got people skills is amazing, bro. And I think that's where a lot of your success comes from. It's the way you speak to people and make them feel like we're doing this together. You know
what I learned that? You know what? One of my first businesses that I did was the rickshaw bikes in London. Free-wheel bikes. That's one of my first businesses.
Was it?
Complete out of my comfort zone.
Wow.
Completely different.
That's completely different,
But I learned a lot. Learned people skills. I learned how to upsell. I learned how to communicate. I learned how to grind. I learned how to hustle. I learned how to like network. I learned how to work off commission.
Yeah.
A lot of that thing is you gotta have a brain behind it, or else you're just there.
What I learned from it as well, you're willing to try anything and everything. It's not like I ain't doing that.
Because you implement that business strategy in everything you do.
Everything.
And that's sick.
But that strategy with everything, that's with training, that's with mindset, that's with marriage.
Bro, exactly.
Marriage, relationship, companionship, brotherhood, bro, everything. It's a formula.
You know, you could write a book, you know.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, man. Real talk, I'm not even lying.
Yeah, you need your own channel.
Yeah,
bro.
you need your own channel, man. That's what you need.
You don't need us here, bro.
Yeah.
You need to carry on talking yourself and people listen. But I believe, bro, that's a very big strength to have.
100%.
When you can just talk yourself and everyone's listening.
But I'll be real with you, you know, like, there's an opportunity for everyone, I think, in life.
Yeah.
Do what you're good at. Do the minimum, but do it at its best. And the only way you grow is by working with people. That's one thing people understand in business. Don't think working hard means doing everything. It's learning the art of delegation, learning the people skills that you need to have that comes with it. And people skills goes down to the root.
Of course.
A big part of it, I think the reason why it helped me channel what I was doing into business was being a personal trainer, you need to learn people skills.
Yeah.
You're getting someone who's struggling, is insecure, overweight, suffering from different things. And it's not the overweight, the insecurity and the posture you're dealing with is, where does that come from? What stemmed it? What caused it? Is it the upbringing? Is it relationship? Is it eating habits? Once you understand that, to get that out of someone as well, you got to be someone who's relatable, likable, someone that people can trust, someone that people can, you know, you got to be a really good listener as well. You got to be someone who actually remembers everything.
Of course,
Yeah,
so
of course,
if you got all these skill sets and you're working towards them, and these weren't skill sets that were handed over to him. These weren't natural things, but I used to sit on Google and study everything. To the point, even when I had a client sometimes, they'll come to me and be like, I've got this illness. I'll act like I knew in the moment.
Wow.
I'll be like, I need to go to the toilet. I'll go to the toilet. I'll Google it.
Research up on it.
Come back into the conversation.
Yeah.
I couldn't lie.
Yeah,
I couldn't also say no to losing an opportunity. But if I'm accepting something, I'm going to go out there and study and learn it.
Yeah,
and it went down to the point, I told you guys this, there was something about me, I used to always say, I know. Someone told me, I know. And it wasn't until one of my clients that she sat me down and was like, you know, saying the word I know is the politest way of telling someone to shut up.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
And by saying I know, you'll never embrace anything that's been said to you. And I want you guys to put this in the podcast. It's a very, very important message for anyone out there. If someone's teaching you something, so if you're going to someone for advice, never say I know. Because all you're doing, you might know, you might hear it, you might have heard it, but clearly you don't know because you're either asking for that information or you're trying to take in that information. If you want to be that person that wants to take something from that information or for whatever's been advised to you, you either say yes, because then you're actually going to embed it and
acknowledging
action,
it.
or don't say nothing. Never say I know. I know is the biggest reason why most people are failures. Most reason why most people don't take people serious.
Yep.
So with that, never use the word I know. And from the day I stopped using the word I know, my life really started to take real action. Action from actually being involved with people. I used to take my own personal action, but to work with people, to build relationship, to be able to communicate. If you're going to get advice, listen, absorb it, become a sponge, take in all the information. Never say I know.
Exactly.
And if you got a habit of saying I know, cut it out.
Worst thing is when you say I know and then someone puts you on the spot.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. And if anything, ask questions.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're trying to understand something, keep asking more questions.
Yeah.
You do two things by doing that. You either expose the person whether they understand what they're saying to you.
Yep.
Because then if you ask them questions, then you make them realize, oh, now you got to explain it because you're actually interested. Or you tell the truth or you're a waffler. Yep. So then you come to understand, can I take this person serious? If you're asking them questions because you want to really understand and they are explaining it to you, what you're doing, you're gaining more knowledge. You're getting to understand. By doing I know, you're doing two things. You don't understand whether the person's a bullshitter or whether you're really going to take it in, and you're most likely not going to take it in, because by you saying I know, it's like, I know.
Yeah, you're just shutting them down.
And then if the person's really genuine, really trying to give information, you're being extremely rude and you deserve to be slapped, if I'm honest with you. Facts. So
I was going to say, I know, but for now, leave it.
So by learning this,
nice.
That was like the first stage of understanding how I can utilize my experience with customers, my experience when I went to people who were slightly more knowledgeable or were knowledgeable, or when I was going to get information. And if you do have a bad habit of being that person, but you genuinely want to take in that information, stop asking people and go on YouTube. Because guess what? When you listen to a YouTube video, you can't say I know. Exactly. You can't talk back.
You just got to listen.
You can't even interrupt. You got to take it in. If you don't want to listen, you're going to come off the channel.
Yeah.
But if you're watching, absorb it and use different ways of you taking in that information, whether you're going to write notes, whether you're going to screen record, whether you're going to take... Like, everyone's different. Everyone's learning skills are very different. My learning skills is once I listen to something, I memorize it and I know it. And I take action straight away. Like, once it comes in, I put into action. Yeah. Straight away. So there was that aspect. So when it came to dealing with people and speaking to people and developing that skill set that people generally credit me for, it's becoming more noticeable. I wouldn't say I had it in me. I had to go out there and learn it. And learning it from someone who speaks now 5 languages fluently. Learning it from a place where the way I speak now wasn't how I grew up speaking. I came from the streets, so slang was like my nature.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%.
And being able to put yourself in positions and areas where you're really out of your comfort zone. But talk less, listen more. You become more powerful. You take in more information, and then if you don't want to adapt, you're not going to be judged before you should be judged. And if you're listening and you're talking less, people will allow you to be there. Wait for people to ask you questions. But once you're in that room, be in that room because you want to gain that knowledge and you want to be able to fit in, so that when it's time for you to talk, you've done enough listening so you can then replicate.
Exactly.
And to fit in. And then from there, once you built your momentum, then you can start introducing yourself. Then you can start opening up. But first and foremost, see if that's the place you want to be in. Taking that information, taking it away.
Understand
it first, and then open your mouth. And after you'll make the best relationship, and you make the best experience from doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
A lot of people talk too soon, and people look at them like, oh, nah.
Yeah, exactly.
Easier for people to judge you. Or what people do is that they try to fit in by forcing it, by not being themselves.
By being fake,
And then you lose yourself in the process doing that. You know? So when it comes to like the communication aspect, when it comes to being able to, you know, articulate yourself to people, you need to really learn it. You need to study. It's not something you're taught at school.
It's a skill, isn't it, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a skill set.
And it's a skill set that should be taught and spoken more so, because it can take you very, very far.
Of course,
I can make a deal right now off a phone.
Yeah,
if I even happen to meet that person. I can also send a very strategic message, which I've had to learn to make an upsell or to negotiate or to close a deal, which is a skill set that through communication, without needing my physical voice and my appearance to close a deal, I was able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so there's different.
You got to be book smart as well as life smart as well, though. Sometimes.
And if you're not book smart, like I can't spell, I still can't spell, and I can't read. You can use your phone and press the recording bit.
Yeah, and it'll just say it for you.
It will spell it.
Yeah, spell it for you. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you don't have to.
There's always a way around something.
Same formula to make the number 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Zero excuses, bro.
So true.
You know, and that's me, bro.
Bro, you know what's funny? Now, I'm listening to all of this, and the absolute truth is, bro, when you want something to work or something to, if you want to achieve your goals, basically, but you have no people skills and you have no, I like using the word manners, because some things I think should be just basic manners, bro.
Of course.
And I feel like the society of today, not all the, like, when I say society, I don't mean like particular communities or whatever, but in general, I feel like the kids of today, the generation of today, they're losing that side of respecting their elders.
And you know where that comes from, bro? If I'm honest with you.
If I was to, you answered me, you asked me a question, I'd say it's down to what they look up to. It's YouTubers and the people that they watch. Like, you know, you'd walk into your nephews or your kids watching someone like, you know, a YouTuber, without mentioning their names, and they're completely talking absolute shit. They're teaching you shit. The way they're speaking to their parents, these gamers and stuff, the way they're swearing, and that is where they're getting their influence from, bro. And someone like us, we're boring to them. They want to hear this, you know, nonsense, and I think that's why they're losing touch of real life and what manners really mean. That's my point.
But it's hard to instill it in some people as well, because this generation is completely different.
It's completely
You
different.
try to explain to this generation how we were taught back then, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, for example, nowadays, anything you want to know about, like you said, you can just go online.
Google it, yeah.
But that's exactly, like, we still had the element of still listening to your elders. They don't have like elders like that. They don't listen to elders. They just listen to social media and their role models.
I think this is what leads into these new marriages. Like, they were saying it the other day that it's the highest rate of divorces now. And I think that is because the way they're expecting your wife or your partner to be, they're expecting that Hollywood or the Bollywood style. That he's going to be the most charming man in the world. He ain't going to have no problems. Money's, But how hard is it now to make money and spend money the way they want you to? Just to fit into society, you've got to spend at least $2,000 on just an outfit. That doesn't even make sense to you. That a Balenciaga hoodie's 800 quid. Can you deep that for a minute? Like, it's easy buying, you buy one, but just deep it.
It's just people trying to fit in it.
Yeah. I'm going to pick on the first 2 points you lot said, which I totally agree with what you said. And I think what it is we're walking to a generation, especially a young generation, where it's a consumer generation.
Yeah,
of course.
So whether it's going to be YouTubers, music, acting, movies, whatever it is, the fact we consume, and what really sells is not what you expect to sell, which is like knowledge and experience, which our parents and our generation who never consumed anything, who actually were taught from leaders, actual parents, through teachers and stuff. That generation's finished. Now it's about consuming. From when you spend about, say, 70% of your day consuming, what happens is you're easily influenced, and what your brain takes in from a young age, and when you're consuming the wrong thing, which is more entertaining, it's funny, it's good to watch, it gives you a high, it releases chemicals in your body, it makes you feel like you're missing out something, and you can relate to it, or you're inspired by the wrong things, is you initially change the way you process things, the way you think, and the way you behave. Then the whole aspect of, can you believe the fact that, to live a certain lifestyle, you gotta, have a certain income and stuff.
Of course.
I agree with that. And can you believe £800 for a hoodie? Now, I'm that sort of guy where I look at that hoodie and I think, I don't respect the fact that people look up to it and think it's £800, there's anything different to it. Yeah. But from a businessman, I respect the fact that we're able to do that.
Of course, I understand. 100%,
Acknowledge the negative of it, how much it can affect, but also look at the positive. Wow, look what they've done. If they've done that,
if they've built that name and brand, they should be able to sell it at that price.
They should be able to
understand
that. It's about understanding there's a story also behind it, and which most people skip. And then once you have both looks, then you can be like, if I'm gonna wear Balenciagas, I'm not wearing it because someone else. Let's talk about another brand. Maybe not Balenciaga. Let's say Louis Vuitton. I'm not wearing it because everyone's jumping on it. I'm wearing it because I actually value them, their story, the process behind it. The fact they can mark up something at that rate. But if you understand fashion, then you understand the quality comes with it as well. Of course. The story, the vibe, and everything that comes with it. So there's that element, but then also like, there's nothing also wrong with buying a plain T-shirt or shopping at your local where you want to support.
Of course,
or like a brand. Myself, for example, like, my fragrances are marked up at £50. Eventually they're going to go up in price because the bigger the brand's going to become, the more exclusive it's going to become.
Demand
and all that. So there's a reason behind it, but Creed Aventus is selling the bottle at £300 or Baccarat Rouge. But I respect them.
Of course.
They're not my role model because they've got a different target audience. And their history in fragrances is they went to study the notes, their family inherited plants. There's a lot of science behind it.
See what I'm saying? Again, look, when you went into something, you done your full research on everyone.
Absolutely, bro. You got to understand what you're getting into, and you got to also respect them as well.
Of course.
And don't compare yourself. But who I am or what I'm doing is I'm creating a brand. So whatever my story, whatever my journey, whatever my legacy, and the formula that I'm using is going to be completely to them, because when they were establishing something from why perfume is perfume, before technology, before social media, before half of the stuff which we can now take and make all of a sudden. For example, like, for your parents to be successful, they used to have to go to the market, sell, eventually get a store, and then work their way up. Now you can literally start drop shipping and make that sort of money
online from your
phone. So like, it's respecting other people, acknowledging them, acknowledging their price margin and thing, but also like, can you do that? Yes, you can. Can you do it faster? Yes, you can. Can you do it better? Yes, you can, because of the resources and the technology and the understanding of what you can do, and to also understand what consumers are consuming and who they are. And the fact we live in a generation, the population right now, where most people are broke, and more people are going to be broke because of the way the system is in place, and that the rich are always going to get richer.
Of course.
Not until you come out of that and you come from there, you realize it's not like you should look up to them and be like, oh, they don't pay taxes, or they're bad because they do this, or they were like, nah, you know what, you need to start acknowledging and respecting them, because that's the only thing, that's the first thing that's going to get you out there.
Yeah.
And the reason why you're there, because you're there for your choice.
And also at the same time, we might be disrespecting them or whatnot, but we're all trying to reach that level.
There you go. And if you're not trying to reach that level and you want to be humble, make sure you're happy and humble. Not that you're humble and you're sad and you're miserable and you're negative. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
100%.
Be happy and humble. Don't be miserable, negative, but I'm humble, because you're not actually humble.
Exactly.
And I see a lot of that nowadays. And again, like, still living in London.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to one corner street, you get the highs and you get the rich, and then you walk the next street road and it's like the complete opposite.
Yeah,
100%.
Like, you can walk into London right now and it's a state.
It's literally sometimes across the road.
But at the same time, you look up a building and you think there's a penthouse up there, and who's living up there, and how did he get up there?
Yeah.
Surely there's a formula and a strategy. And then in the same penthouse, doorstep, there's a homeless man. But it's like, I believe everyone's responsible and everyone's accountable for their action. And I believe it's not about having the materialistic or having everything. It's about, again, down to your confidence and are you truly happy?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If you are truly happy, and again, you're humble from a place where you understand what humble really resembles, not be humble because, you know, like, you should just embrace and have what you want. But if you embrace and have illnesses, you have laziness embedded in you, then why are you humble?
And don't just throw around that word.
You're broke.
Yeah.
Like, that's your choice. You know, don't be humble for that reason. You know, if anything, it should be forbidden. You know, you shouldn't have any excuses. You shouldn't be where you are.
You need to up your game.
That's exactly what it is.
100%,
and it comes to, again, the mindset.
Nice, brilliantly said. And bro, you know, before we wrap up, I want to ask you what your faith means to you, bro. You know the way you're so strong-minded, confident, all of these things. Just from listening to you, I believe that your foundation is very strong. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So I want to ask you, just to sum up what faith and religion does for you and what it means to you.
Everything. If you look at Islam is perfect. As Muslims, we're not perfect. So
of course,
that's the first understanding. Like, if you want perfect and you want peace and you want structure and you want to see something that is holding its legacy and it's only showing over time, and it's something that was told to us 1400 years ago by Prophet Muhammad, that we're walking into a generation of everything that we're experiencing right now. But to hold on to it, because when you hold on to it, everything I explain, everything I describe is actually in our faith.
Of course.
Be patient, sabr.
Absolutely, brother.
Humble.
Being positive, humble, all these things. So a big part to who I am, and if you do look at this podcast and be like, I'm relatable to this guy, I respect him, I like him, or how could I be like this, then look into Islam. You know, and that is my core. It was a core of my family. My mum's a revert, comes from a Catholic background. So I'm also someone who's quite knowledgeable in religions as well. I'm open to people's ideas and views and stuff. Not because I like to create debates or I like to get into conversation or conflict, but
just to learn,
To learn and understand. Because then also what it does by learning time makes you value how grateful you should be about where you are.
Of course.
And Islam is not your choice, it's a choice by God. God chooses you to embrace it. You can't just embrace it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, these things is just something that I'm super grateful. And that is my foundation, my principle. And it's just a guide. It's a peace. When you prostrate and you submit and you pray 5 times a day and you pray on time and you wake up for Fajr when you're tired and, you embrace it with people around you, whether it's a relative, whether you're married and you're doing it with your wife, or one day you do it with your kids if you've got kids.
Alhamdulillah.
Wow, that feeling, man. I wish it upon everyone, bro. And
inshallah.
And it's not until you came from a place where you wasn't doing it and then you embrace it and you realize the value and the benefit of it. It's like, I can never try to come away from that.
Of course.
But what comes with it as well, we believe when there's good, there's evil, is there's also another side to it, bro. Where when you start to understand evil can be really evil from a more spiritual side of thing, you realize how much more powerful Islam is when you realize the cure to that evil is Islam. And
yeah.
it comes from a book. And even from listening to it, how much it can affect your mood, your energy, and the way you feel within your insides, and how much it can affect your mindset from a positive perspective. And even from seeing other people suffering with, you know, spiritual demons, and seeing how the cure and the power of Islam, and that's what gives you the understanding, that confidence to hold on to it, to get through it.
Yeah.
And it's not until you see that world, and I don't believe a lot of people will see it, because some people are in it and don't know anything outside of it. So coming from someone who's been through that side and seen both sides, it's a blessing. That's what Islam means to me, bro. I'm just grateful, bro. Alhamdulillah. And I'm grateful to have brothers like you guys as well.
Alhamdulillah, my bro.
You know what I mean? And that's of course, and I hope that message comes across very, very...
No, bro, I would just like to say Allah bless you with your future projects.
Yeah.
Allah bless you with your life, your decisions you make.
Of course,
shower His blessings on you, inshallah. So there you go, guys. There you have it. That was Pro PT, our brother Yusuf.
Alhamdulillah.
If you liked what you saw, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.
And hit the bell notification so you don't miss none of our uploads.
Absolutely.
Thank you, bro.
Make sure you guys get at the socials. We've got your tour of London, we've got Pro PT. Check out the website.
Come on.
There's a discount when you guys sign up to the email list as well. So sign up to the email list and join our community, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So all the links will be in the description below, guys. Take care.
Peace. Let's go.